My husband, who had gone to the city for college, knelt in front of me and begged me to divorce him. You and I are too far apart. Lily Lawson, the daughter of a university principal, and I are a perfect match. Don't worry, once I become a professor, I'll come back for you and bring you to the city. I can't give you marriage, but I can give you all of my love. Looking at the man pretending to be deeply affectionate, I laughed in anger. To put him through college, I had dropped out of school and worked everywhere I could. I even sold my blood to support his widowed, crippled mother. And what was my reward? The moment he graduated, he kicked me aside. I granted his wish on the spot. Who would have thought that, just to buy Lily Lawson a wristwatch, he secretly mortgaged our marital home? When the debt collectors came after me, they beat me brutally and dumped me in a cowshed to die. After hearing I was dead, he shed 2 tears. Then turned around and took wedding photos with Lily. Given a second life, I looked at the same husband, now making a fuss about marrying the principal's daughter, and I decisively chose to change my engagement. Still, I had one question. Principal Vaughn only had a son. Where did this daughter come from? Emma, just sign it, he said. Think of it as me letting you down. You're a good person, but you can't help me. Looking at the sorrow on his face, I felt momentarily dizzy. My eyes fell on the annulment petition lying on the table, and only then did I realize I had returned to the days before I married Cole Grant. But in my past life, Cole only got involved with Lily after we were married. Now he was so eager to dissolve the engagement, it seemed he had come back in time too. I bit down hard on the tip of my tongue, forcing myself to calm down. When I didn't respond, Cole stared at me for a long time before suddenly dropping to his knees with a heavy thud. Clutching my hand, he pleaded anxiously. I know you love me, but love can't be this selfish. If you love someone, you should want her to live better. I'm begging you, please let me go. Let me be with Lily Lawson. I frowned, about to answer, when his mother, Martha Grant, hobbled over on her crutch, speaking in a coaxing tone. Emma, I've always treated you like my own daughter, but you and Cole just don't have the fate to be together. Our Cole is a college student, and you're only in high school. That's not a match. Cole already told me Lily's father is a university principal. Don't blame Cole. How could you possibly compare with that? Watching mother and son sing the same tune, my heart turned cold. The marks from the needles I used when selling my blood were still clear on my arm, and yet they couldn't wait to cast me aside. I tore a sheet from a notepad and told Cole to write a statement making it clear that he was the one breaking his promise. He hesitated, unwilling to write, but when I made it clear I wouldn't sign otherwise, he clenched his jaw and wrote it. After I read it, I swiftly signed my name. I had barely finished the last stroke when Martha snatched the paper from my hand. Clutching it, she spat in my direction, her face twisting as she cursed. What are you to make my son kneel for you? A girl like you still dreaming of clinging to him? Pathetic. My son is going to marry the principal's daughter. I'll soon be in-laws with the principal. Just look at your mud-legged farmer parents and that penniless family of yours. Smug, she helped Cole to his feet. I'm the one who's not worthy? I forced myself to stay calm and shot back. Funny how you never thought of that all those years you lived off me, while I was the one keeping your son afloat. You rotten girl. Tired of living, are you? How dare you talk like that? Martha lunged at me, ready to hit me. Cole's face darkened. Emma, I really misjudged you. Just a few years of food and clothes, and you want to use that to hold me hostage forever? I'm telling you, you'll never control me with that again. So he finally revealed his true thoughts. I smiled faintly and asked, Have you actually looked at what you're holding? Seeing my expression, Cole felt a chill in his heart. He snatched the paper back from his mother, and when he read the contents, his face turned ghostly pale. Martha was still cursing beside him when he suddenly shouted, Enough! Then he turned, dropped to his knees again, and said in a trembling voice, I'm sorry. Emma, I didn't mean what I said, Cole stammered. Martha, who had just been ready to jump in again, froze when Cole told her that I had only signed the statement of clarification, not the annulment petition. She nearly fainted. The arrogance she had shown a moment ago instantly turned into sheer terror. Her knees buckled, and she fell to the ground. Emma, it's all my fault, she sobbed. Please forgive this foolish old woman. You're better than me. Don't hold a grudge. Beat me, scold me if you must, but please don't refuse to sign." Martha wailed, sniffling and crying as she groveled. I looked at the mother and son kneeling before me and slowly said, "I've given you so much, yet it's you who wronged me. You'd better remember that." With that, I signed the annulment petition, tossed it on the ground, and turned to leave. On the way home, my chest felt unbearably heavy. In my past life, Cole always said his greatest wish was to return to the city and become a university professor. At first, I didn't understand, but later I learned his father had once been an intellectual. After abandoning his wife and child and returning to the city, Cole and his mother became the laughingstock of others. He swore to himself that one day he would go back as a professor and silence everyone who had mocked them. I pitied his hardships. When his tuition wasn't enough and he was about to be expelled, I gave up my own excellent grades and dropped out to work, even selling my blood to fund his education. While he studied, I took care of his mother for him. But what I got in return was his betrayal. He secretly mortgaged the house my parents had left me just to buy a wristwatch for Lily Lawson to win her favor. Because of that, I lost my life. It was my own blindness that made me treat Cole like treasure, never seeing the wolfish ambition hidden under his gentle appearance. When I pushed open the door to my home and saw my mother, I could no longer hold back my emotions. Tears streamed uncontrollably down my face. My mother looked at me anxiously and asked if Cole had bullied me. I threw myself into her arms, crying and shaking my head. "Mom, I won't marry him anymore." My mother was stunned for a moment, then hurriedly nodded. Good. Don't marry him." In the past, she had wept countless times watching me suffer for Cole. Hearing me change my mind now, of course, she was overjoyed. I wiped my tears and said, "Mom, remember the cousin of Junior's fiancé? Tell him I agree." "Why are you so late?" Cole snapped impatiently when I arrived at the agreed place. "Even if you drag this out, it won't change the fact that we're ending the engagement. What happened to you? Why are you soaked like this?" His eyes swept over me, and he hesitated. "Was breaking up with me so hard on you that you tried to drown yourself?" Following his gaze, I looked down at my drenched clothes and nearly laughed in fury. Today was the day we had agreed to file the annulment. On the way, someone had fallen into the river and passed out. Thanks to my father being the village's barefoot doctor and the first aid skills I had learned, I managed to save him. That was why I was a few minutes late. And yet Cole was narcissistic enough to think I had jumped into the river for him. "Don't be too sad," Cole sighed. "The truth is, we just aren't meant to be. My mom had a fortune teller check. Your birth chart clashes with mine. If we're together, we'll never be happy." I found it laughable. In the past, when they wanted my money and effort, his family claimed our signs were perfectly compatible, a match made in heaven. Now that they wanted to kick me aside, suddenly my chart cursed his fate. So they got to say both the good and the bad. "You're a college student and you actually believe this?" I asked coldly. "What's the point of all the studying you've done?" Cole flushed with embarrassment, then quickly grew wary. "You're not saying this because you still want to cling to me, are you?" I couldn't be bothered to waste another word. After handing in the forms with him, I turned to leave. "Wait," Cole called after me. Right in front of me, he submitted his marriage application with Lily Lawson. Smirking proudly, he said, "The day after tomorrow is our engagement banquet. You're welcome to come. You know her dad's a principal. There are plenty of rules." Unlike folks in the countryside who married directly without fuss, in the city, there had to be an engagement banquet. Listening to Cole's words, which sounded like a complaint but were actually him showing off, I smiled. "Fine, I'll definitely attend. I'd like to meet this principal father-in-law of yours." Cole and Lily's engagement banquet was held in great style. It was even grander than the celebration when Cole got into college, with far more people invited. Nearly the entire village came, all sighing in admiration over Cole's and Martha Grant's good fortune. Martha beamed until her eyes nearly disappeared, shouting at the top of her lungs to invite everyone to sit down. During the ceremony, Lily Lawson took the microphone and said, "I know my fiancé is outstanding, but since we're about to be married, I hope certain shameless women will stop clinging to him." Cole quickly grabbed the mic and declared passionately, My heart belongs only to Lily. Even if someone threatens me by throwing herself into a river, I will never give in. Lily, don't worry. The only daughter-in-law our Grant family will ever acknowledge is you. No lowly country girl will ever enter our home. From the audience, Martha pounded her chest and shouted, "That's right! I also hope certain people will have enough self-awareness and stop pestering us." Cole went on with a look of deep sorrow, saying, "This harassment has caused great distress for me and my fiancé." The guests whispered among themselves, their gazes turning toward me. Everyone in the village knew Cole and I had been engaged, and his words just now had all but named me outright. I smiled faintly, stood up, walked to the stage, and snatched the microphone. First, let me congratulate Cole and Lily again. They're a well-matched couple. Second, I have a personal announcement I'd like to share with everyone here. At my words, Cole's face instantly turned pale. With all the guests watching, he couldn't snatch the microphone back. Martha looked as though she might faint. After I had enjoyed enough of their terrified expressions, I continued, "I'm getting married." Gathering my courage, I looked down into the crowd and asked, "Ryan Miller, will you marry me?" Ryan froze in shock. My face turned burning red before he finally came to his senses. Overjoyed, he cried out, "Yes, Emma, I will. I'll treat you well for the rest of my life." Looking at the shy, excited Ryan, I couldn't help lowering my head with a bashful smile. "No way, how could you marry him?" Cole's face twisted in disbelief. "I don't agree." He tried to rush toward me, but Lily clamped down hard on his arm and stopped him. After the ceremony, Ryan walked me home. Blushing, he told me he would come to my house tomorrow to formally propose, and hoped we could marry as soon as possible. Remembering all he had done for me after my death in my previous life, I no longer doubted his sincerity and agreed. But just after I sent him off, Cole stormed in, furious. "How could you be so cheap, Emma? Starving enough to eat anything that comes your way?" His face was filled with disdain. "How could you just pick some wild man to marry?" I didn't bother explaining. I simply stood and told him to leave. His eyes swept over me, and when he saw the hair clip on my head, he sneered knowingly. "Ah, so that's why you suddenly announced you were getting married, just to spite me. Don't worry. As long as you behave, I'll still find a way to take you to the city in the future." I touched the clip. I had almost forgotten. This cheap trinket worth only a few cents was the only gift Cole had ever given me. With it, he had bound me to toil for him like a beast of burden for years. Now he thought I was marrying out of spite because of it? I yanked the clip from my hair and threw it at him. Behind me, Cole called out, "Even if you're angry, there's a limit. Don't cross the line, or I'll really be mad." I slammed the door shut and ignored him. Ryan and I set our wedding day for the 6th of the month. Coincidentally, Cole and Lily's wedding was on the very same day. The village arranged a collective ceremony for both couples, and the village chief personally presided. Cole spent lavishly on marrying Lily. All three of the traditional big items were fully prepared. Compared to my past life, when his bride price for me had only been a simple kettle, the difference couldn't have been greater. The villagers whispered among themselves about Cole's bride price. "The Grant family isn't well off. How could they afford such an expensive dowry?" Another voice chimed in. "I heard they mortgaged their house just to pull it together. Are they crazy? Where will they live after this?" Martha rolled her eyes and snapped, "What do you know? My son is marrying the daughter of a university president. After the wedding, we'll be moving to the city to live with them." Everyone around her forced smiles and nodded, unwilling to offend the future in-laws of a college president. It was nearly time for the wedding ceremony to begin, yet Ryan Miller still hadn't shown up. My parents were anxious, and although I kept comforting them, telling them to wait a little longer, inside I was worried too. Cole walked over with a smug grin. "Emma, still acting to save face? Looks like Ryan didn't have the courage to come. What are you going to do now?" His gloating expression made me sick, so I ignored him, but he pressed closer, lowering his voice. "Stop pretending. You've had your fun, but don't take this too far. If you embarrass yourself later, don't expect me to help you. You look beautiful today, Emma. Too bad this isn't ancient times, or I could marry Lily as my main wife and take you as a concubine." His words made me nauseous, and I was about to reply when a commotion at the entrance interrupted me. "They're here!" Cole's eyes lit up as he rushed over. Lily Lawson entered, holding the arm of a middle-aged man. Cole hurried up and affectionately called out, "Dad!" I frowned. At their engagement banquet, Lily's father had claimed he was too busy to attend, yet today he had actually come. "Dad, it's such an honor for our village to welcome you here." Cole fussed over him, wiping down a chair and helping him sit before proudly grabbing the microphone. "Fellow villagers, please welcome my father-in-law, the president of Huzhou University, who has come to attend my wedding. As the saying goes, a son-in-law is like half a son. From today onward, we're all one family." The crowd erupted into applause, marveling at the Grant's good fortune to marry into such a prestigious family. But the applause was suddenly cut off by a deep male voice. A middle-aged man in a Zhongshan suit stepped forward. "I only came today to drink at my son and daughter-in-law's wedding. Since when did I gain another son-in-law?" I turned to look at him, and though he seemed familiar, I couldn't recall where I had seen him before. Cole cut in disdainfully. "And who are you supposed to be? I didn't invite you. Did you sneak in for a free meal?" He waved his hand to call someone over to throw the man out. I frowned and was just about to intervene when Ryan finally strode into the hall. Looking straight at the man, Ryan called out, "Dad!" Cole sneered. "So you finally showed up. If you hadn't said anything, I would have thought this freeloader came just to scrounge food." I quickly went to meet Ryan, and he explained at once, seeing the concern in my eyes. "I went to buy the largest TV set, and that's why I was late. Sorry to have worried you." He smiled and waved, signaling for the gifts to be carried in. The dowry was brought in one item after another. Beyond the 3 traditional essentials, there were a refrigerator, a television, a washing machine, and more, leaving everyone wide-eyed. In an instant, Ryan's gifts overshadowed Cole's. Cole's face darkened with humiliation. He raised his voice. "Emma, think carefully. Where did he get the money for all this? He must have stolen it or robbed someone. If you marry him out of spite and he ends up in prison with a criminal record, 3 generations of your family will hang their heads in shame." "Is this the quality of a Huzhou University student?" Ryan's father, Mr. Miller, asked coldly. Cole snorted and mocked him. "Ha, and what makes you qualified to judge me?" His eyes grew even more hostile. At that moment, another group hurried in. "Sorry, we're late," one of them said. Cole's eyes lit up again when he saw them. "Director Liu, you came to my wedding too?" He rushed up eagerly, but the man leading the group didn't even recognize Cole. "We're here for President Vaughn's child's wedding." "That's right," Cole said proudly, his face glowing with excitement. "He's my father-in-law. Please, come inside." But Director Liu suddenly hesitated, then as if realizing something, quickly stepped forward and bowed respectfully to Ryan's father. "President." The word left everyone in the hall stunned. My heart tightened. Ryan had never once told me his father was a university president. "Director Liu, you must be mistaken," I said quickly. "He isn't a president, he's just Ryan's father from the countryside. How could he be a president?" Cole immediately pushed forward, laughing as he pointed at Ryan. "Exactly, he's just a villager's dad." Director Liu's expression darkened. "Are you questioning me?" Cole instantly backpedaled, stammering, "And no, I wasn't questioning you. I just thought maybe you made a mistake. It happens. After all, I'm the son-in-law of Huzhou University's president, so how could there be confusion?" Ryan chuckled beside me. "Funny, I've never heard that my father had another daughter or a son-in-law." Cole exploded with rage. "Still pretending? You really think you can claim the president is your father?" He circled us suspiciously, his eyes darting back and forth. Suddenly he laughed to himself. "I get it now. Emma, you're bold, I'll give you that. Just to fight me for face, you not only agreed to marry Ryan, you even had his father pretend to be the president of Huzhou University. All this trouble just to get back at me. Was it worth it?" Hearing his lofty, pitying tone, I was so furious I wanted to curse. "Cole, don't flatter yourself. Ryan and I truly want to marry. Stop making everything about you. We don't have the time to hire someone to pretend to be anybody. Do you even believe the nonsense you're saying? If I love you so much, then why did I marry someone else the moment you got engaged? So you're saying this man is really the president? If he's the president, then I'm the mayor." Cole threw his head back and laughed. Ryan took 2 steps forward, unable to stay quiet, but his father raised a hand to stop him. "Young man, don't speak so carelessly," Mr. Miller said calmly. "I am indeed the president of Huzhou University." Cole sneered. "Oh sure, how much did Emma pay you and Ryan to put on this act for her? And those betrothal gifts, she must have borrowed them from somewhere just to keep up appearances. Emma, you'd better return them before you embarrass yourself further. Stop trying to compete with me. If you keep being stubborn, I won't even want you anymore." The villagers murmured below. Has Emma lost her mind? Cole's family only managed their bride price by mortgaging their house. To one-up him, she's borrowing things and finding someone to pretend to be the president? That must have cost a fortune. Another whispered, in the end, she still can't let Cole go. Even marrying someone else, she's trying to outshine him. She'd be better off admitting her mistake. Maybe then Cole will forgive her and everyone can live in peace. I only found it laughable. Cole had mortgaged his family home for his bride price, and yet he assumed everyone else must be borrowing or stealing. The villagers only saw that Cole's family had supposedly married into an extraordinary household, so naturally they treated him as someone not to be crossed. "So you're saying I'm part of their play too?" Director Liu finally snapped, unable to stay silent. "He is the president of Huzhou University. I'm not senile, I wouldn't mistake him." Cole waved dismissively. "Director Liu, you're old now. I won't argue with you, but it's obvious the three of them planned this trick together." He didn't even bother to look Liu in the eye. Director Liu's tone hardened. "If you can't even recognize the president of Huzhou University, how do you have the right to call yourself an educator? You might as well go home early." Cole's arrogance left Liu so angry he could barely form words. "You? How dare you talk like that?" Watching the older man's beard tremble with rage, I realized Cole's arrogance had grown completely out of control. In the past, Cole would never have dared speak such words. But now that he believed he had powerful backing, he spoke with unrestrained arrogance. Watching him, I made up my mind. "Then why don't you bring your father-in-law out for us to meet? That would clear everything up." Cole cast a scornful glance at us, then reluctantly nodded in agreement. Soon after, someone carefully led Lily Lawson's father out of the house. "Well, what do you have to say now?" Cole asked smugly. I looked straight at the old man. "Who are you?" "I'm Lily Lawson's father. I'm a university president," he replied. "What's your name? Or rather, what's the name of the president of Huzhou University?" I pressed. I'm Lily Lawson's father. I'm the president of a university." The man stammered, repeating himself nervously. "Do you realize that impersonating someone else is a crime?" I said sternly. "You can be arrested and jailed for this." The old man panicked, dropped to his knees and begged. "I didn't know. They just told me to pretend to be your father. They gave me $1.50. No one said I'd go to jail." At that moment, the entire room erupted. So it was fake after all. What about the house the Grant family mortgaged? How will they pay that back now? Cole thought he was so clever, but he ended up marrying into a lie. Emma is the lucky one. She married into real wealth instead. Cole must be dying inside. He abandoned Emma, who treated him so well, for a fraud. Listening to the chatter around us, Cole snapped. He rushed at Lily, shouting accusations. "Didn't you say your father was a university president? Didn't you promise you'd help me get a teaching position? Why did you lie to me? This is marriage fraud." Lily flinched under his grip, gasping for breath, then raised her brows and sneered. "I haven't even confronted you yet. Didn't you promise me the 3 big items for the dowry? Didn't you say you'd give my family an extra 500 yuan and buy us a house in the city? Turns out you mortgaged your house just to scrape together the dowry. You just wait. I'll sue you for fraud and hold you accountable." Cole collapsed onto the ground, drenched in cold sweat as the reality of his own words and deeds struck him. Sitting there, he muttered over and over, "It's over. Everything's over." Only then did I truly understand. Neither of them was innocent. Cole thought he was marrying the daughter of a university president, while Lily thought she was marrying into a wealthy family. I sighed to myself. If either of them had taken the time to ask questions before the wedding, instead of letting greed and ambition cloud their minds, things wouldn't have ended this way. Martha, enraged by what had just unfolded, fainted on the spot. When people revived her with hurried efforts, the first thing she did was rush at Lily to strike her. But Lily wasn't one to be bullied. She met Martha head-on with 2 sharp slaps, plunging the scene into chaos once again. At that moment, a man walked toward me with a kind smile. "You must be Emma, right? We've met before. Do you remember?" "You are?" I asked, certain I had seen him somewhere but unable to recall. "By the little river that day," he said with a gentle laugh. "If not for your timely help, I might not have survived." Realization dawned as he introduced himself. "My name is David Vaughn. I'm Ryan's father. We don't share the same last name because Ryan took his mother's surname when he was a child." Only then did it hit me. The day Cole and I had agreed to withdraw our marriage application, I had been late because I stopped to save someone from drowning. I never imagined the man I rescued was Ryan's father. What an incredible twist of fate. Ryan, standing at my side, didn't understand at first, but after listening to most of it, he reached over and clasped my hand tightly. When Ryan had first told his father he wanted to marry, he had been unusually insistent. I had still carried some doubts, but the moment President Vaughn realized it was me, he completely relaxed. "As a father, I hope the two of you can support each other and grow old together." Ryan and I exchanged a glance, then spoke in unison. "Thank you, Dad." Embarrassed, we both lowered our heads and smiled. Though chaos had broken out at the wedding yesterday because of Cole and Lily, Ryan and I still managed to complete our ceremony. That night, I spent my first sweet night as his wife. The next morning, I dragged my sore body out of bed and found Ryan already standing there with breakfast prepared. When he gently asked if I was uncomfortable, I shyly shook my head. Still, everything that had happened yesterday was beyond what I could have imagined. I had always known Ryan was a retired soldier. But now his father turned out to be a university president? Ryan noticed my confusion and smiled. "My mother passed away when I was very young. Because my father was busy with work, my grandparents in the countryside raised me. When I grew up, my father respected my choice to enlist. Emma, I'm sorry I never told you this before. I didn't think it was worth mentioning. But I promise, from now on, I'll tell you everything in advance." Hearing his sincere apology, I smiled and forgave him. The reason I chose to marry him in the first place was because of who he was, not because of his family background. If I had chosen a husband only for external prestige, I might have ended up like Cole and Lily, destroyed by greed and vanity. Speaking of Cole, everything that happened at the wedding had made him infamous in the village. In the days that followed, all anyone gossiped about was him and Lily, and from the sound of it, life wasn't going well for him. I didn't bother to pry. I was content simply living my life peacefully with Ryan. But one day, Cole came looking for me. Just a few days apart, and he already looked worn and haggard, nothing like the beaming man from the banquet. "Emma, are you doing well now?" he asked, staring at me with false tenderness. Before I could reply, he went on, "These past few days have been hell for me, like living in purgatory." I didn't want to listen to his rambling, but he blocked my path again. "I know I hurt you deeply before. I was wrong. Please forgive me, won't you?" He stepped closer, making me recoil in fear. "I don't care about any of that anymore. I have a new life now, and I don't care about the past," I said coldly. I would never forgive the pain he had caused me, but with Ryan by my side, all I wanted was to live my own quiet, happy days. The past meant nothing to me now. "Emma, I've finally figured it out," Cole sighed regretfully. "I let myself be blinded by wealth and status, and that's why we were torn apart. But I've realized my mistake. I can't let this continue. From today on, I'll make things right and put everything back on track." His voice was feverish, his eyes unnaturally bright. "Emma, I know you married Ryan, but if you divorce him now and marry me, we can still be together. Of course, there won't be a bride price, and we don't need a wedding. After all, it would be a second marriage, so no need for extravagance. Don't worry, as soon as we're married, your family can buy the wedding house just like before. I'll talk to my mom, and when the time comes, don't be so stubborn. Just bow your head and admit you were wrong." "Stop. Enough," I cut him off, utterly stunned by the thickness of his skin. Where did he find the confidence to say such things? "What's wrong, Emma?" Cole leaned in, still not finished. "Don't be afraid. As long as you treat me and my mother wholeheartedly, I won't mind that you're a divorced woman, Cole said. My whole body trembled with rage. Wholeheartedly for her? He wanted me to work myself to the bone again, even sell my blood like in my past life, just to keep him and his mother fed, let them keep draining my blood and eating my flesh? Forget it. Give up on this, Cole. I'm married to Ryan now. I will never leave him, I said, forcing myself to control my anger. Cole blinked, unable to process my words, still waving his hands about. My mom already checked the calendar. The 8th of next month is a perfect day for us to register our marriage again. Even after I repeated myself several times, he just stood there dumbfounded. What did you say? His eyes went wide, disbelief plastered across his face. It took him a long moment to realize what I meant, and then his expression twisted into fury. You refuse. You love me so much. How could you refuse? He paced back and forth anxiously, then his face hardened. I get it. It's because his father is a university president, isn't it? You're such a shallow woman, chasing wealth and status. You despise me just because I don't have a good father? You look down on me? I'll tell you this. Don't underestimate a poor young man. How do you know I won't surpass him one day? Looking at the crazed man before me, I didn't want to waste another word. Cole Grant, ask yourself honestly, have I ever once wronged you, in this life or the last? His face drained of all color. Panic flickered in his eyes. What are you saying? Could it be you too? Who was it that chased wealth and power from the very start? I cut him coldly. And you have the face to pin it on me? From beginning to end, I never even knew Ryan's family background. But you, twice now, you abandoned me for Lily Lawson because you thought she was a principal's daughter. The moment you heard that, you kicked me aside like garbage. And the second you realized she wasn't, you came crawling back. In my last life, because of you, I lost my very life. I was the fool then. If I truly cared about who your father was, I never would have worked myself into the ground for you. Never would have sold my blood, never would have died for you. If you have even a shred of conscience left, don't come near me again. I threw the words at him and turned to leave. I had barely taken 2 steps when behind me came a heart-wrenching cry. Emma, I'm sorry. But I didn't pause. My stride never faltered as I walked away. When I got home, I told Ryan everything that had happened. I wanted him to know clearly, there was nothing left between Cole and me. After listening, Ryan frowned deeply. From now on, if you ever run into him alone, run as far as you can. A man so desperate to climb higher, beaten down by fraud and humiliation, who knows what extreme things he might do. Seeing how tense he was, I couldn't help but laugh softly and agree. All right, he insisted. Starting tomorrow, I'll take you to and from work every day. I won't feel at ease otherwise. I nodded, touched by his protectiveness. From that day, Cole didn't appear again. We slowly let our guard down, but just as we were beginning to relax, an unwelcome guest arrived. Emma? Emma? Martha's shrill voice carried into our yard as she cried out my name. When Ryan and I stepped outside, her wailing had already drawn a crowd of curious villagers. Emma, you can't just stand by and let him die. I beg you, please save Cole, she sobbed. We were husband and wife once. 100 days of kindness at least. You can't be this heartless. My face darkened instantly. Ryan's expression grew stormy as he stepped forward, ready to throw her out. I held him back. Wait. Turning coldly to Martha, I said, make yourself clear, you are Cole's and Lily's mother, not mine. Emma, you can't be this cruel, Martha wailed. Since that day he saw you, Cole has been demanding a divorce. He says he owes you, that he can't let you go. Lily refuses, so now he starves himself every day, refusing to eat. I don't know what spell you cast on him, but you've turned him into this. You have to take responsibility. Martha wailed, her face streaked with snot and tears as she accused me. I know you've married into the president's family now, and you look down on us poor folks. But this is still a human life. Cole never did anything to wrong you. Her words, full of twisted meaning, stirred the crowd into murmurs and gossip. But I didn't get angry. Instead, I turned back into the house, retrieved something, and came out holding it high. Yes, Cole and I once had an engagement, but because he wanted to marry Lily Lawson, he personally wrote this statement of clarification. Everyone, come take a look and judge fairly. Between Cole and me, things are clean and clear. It was your family who broke the engagement first. Now that I've married, you come here to ruin my name. What exactly are you trying to do? I read the letter aloud word for word, then passed it down for everyone to see. The tide of opinion turned instantly. Neighbors began condemning Cole's family for their shamelessness. Martha hadn't expected me to keep the letter, much less dare to bring it out. In her eyes, I had always been meek and submissive, someone who could be crushed with a bit of slander until no one would want me, leaving Cole to, graciously, take me back. But not only had she failed to ruin my reputation, she had dragged her own son's name through the mud. Martha's face went pale, then flushed, and finally, she slunk away with her crutch in defeat. Ryan and I didn't stay in the village for long. With his savings from the past few years, he bought us a small apartment in the city. Once the paperwork was finished, we moved in. With his encouragement, I quit my job, picked up my books again, and dedicated myself to preparing for the exams. When the admission notice arrived, I collapsed into Ryan's arms, sobbing as years of bitterness and pain finally spilled out. We rushed to tell our parents the good news. My mom and dad were overjoyed, insisting they would throw a banquet in the village to celebrate. It took me a long time to convince them to settle for a simple family gathering instead. Back in the village for that celebration, my mother filled me in on Cole's situation. After he and Lily married, they fought constantly, each believing the other had tricked them. Martha hated Lily bitterly, blaming her for ruining Cole's future. But Lily wasn't easy to bully. She gave as good as she got, often shouting and even hitting Martha. "And Cole just lets this happen?" I asked, surprised. In my memories, he had always defended his mother fiercely. "How could he stop it when he can't even protect himself?" my mother said, then leaned closer, lowering her voice. "Do you know who Lily's real father is?" I shook my head. In my mind, her so-called father was still the criminal they'd hired to impersonate a president at the wedding banquet, the man now sitting in prison. Well, with that kind of family, Cole can never pass any background check. My mother sighed. Forget about becoming a professor, he can't even be a teacher anymore. I thought to myself, that was exactly the position Cole had always dreamed of. But Lily's family knew this well. They demanded 1,000 yuan in compensation before they would agree to a divorce. Otherwise, they said they'd never let him go, leaving a permanent stain on his record. "That's far too cruel," my mother muttered. "Everyone knows the Grants mortgaged their house just to marry Lily. Where would they ever find that kind of money? And yet I heard that even so, Cole and Martha swore they'd divorce her, even if they had to sell their blood." My mother shuddered. "Thank heavens you didn't marry into that family. Not one of them is good." I patted her back gently. "Mom, look at me now. I'm happy, aren't I?" She nodded with relief, though only I knew the depths of what I had suffered in Cole's home. But none of that mattered anymore. As Ryan walked in to find me, I smiled and looped my arm through his, stepping out with him. The people and events of my past life could no longer touch me. I had already begun a brand new life. Bo back.